Welcome back to the channel. This is Patrick, and I'm going to give you a quick review of the trades I've taken today. Today being Friday the 28th, 29th of April. And just before I do that, I'm going to give you an update on what happened yesterday. So let's just scroll back quickly. So my main move, should I say, from yesterday, I was at the tops here. Let me just show you my trade history. I caught this top here using the supply and demand strategy. So when price came up to the came up to this supply zone, it gave us this reaction, and that's what I was expecting. So just zoom in. As it came here and gave us this rejection, price came into this zone here, which would have been my entry, my confirmation that it wanted to go down. And then typically I would either target the 50 EMA or a 15 pip take profit. But because I did a little bit more research in terms of what was happening globally with the ECB, European central banks, I followed the popular thesis that price would go down to the all new lows of, well, not all new lows, recent lows of 1.035 or so on. So as the price was pushing down, I really wanted to see it go further than this. But because I just don't trust the market and I prefer scalping, I was really just aiming for this bottom here, this previous low here. So I held that move a little bit longer than I was used to, and I waited for price to come down here to this demand zone here, and I started getting out of my position here. So I took some profits here, and I wanted to wait for price to push down further. Took some more out and so on. Had a bit on, had about 0.5, which is large size for this account size. So took some off here, and then what happened? So when price got to here, I think I was away from the computer, shot up dramatically. When I got back in, I just closed out my positions around here. Then, being a little bit annoyed that I didn't get the bottom here, I think I did some impulse trading here, and then got into positions here overnight, believing that price was still going to push down, and I just waited overnight, got into another position on the downside here, waiting for price to push down, and it just wasn't happening. Just wasn't happening. So I mean, I've learned a little bit from that process yesterday. I'm not a big fan of Thursdays. Yesterday was my first red day or in about 2 weeks, and I also try to hold positions longer than I'm used to. So I think I'm just going to revert back to what I am strong at, and that's scalping on the 5-minute charts using a supply and demand strategy. Supply and demand strategy is new to me, but it's been very consistent for me and it's built my confidence. And previous to that, I was just scalping based on price action, which actually was a supply and demand strategy, but I wasn't aware it was a supply and demand strategy. So let's get to today. So let me just hide all this. Having a look at this charts. So I was awake around this time in the morning here. Looking at this chart here, price consolidated here. I really should have just waited for some kind of breakout, which we got here, a pullback and a continuation. So my first entry should have been there. Yeah, should have been here at 0.536, and I would have shot for 15 pip take profit, and I would have got that, straight away. I would have got that in a few candles. Now, see as price started from here, this will be our new demand zone. So let's just draw that out. So from the bottom here, that's the neck there, and that's the breakout. Yeah. So this is our new demand zone. So anytime price returns to here, I should be looking for a buying position, which I think price is almost returning to there. So yeah, it's returning there as we speak. Let's see how it reacts. Anyway, so I should be looking for a buying position. So that should have been my first move. My second move, which is actually the move I did catch, I did make a mess somewhere here. I made a mess all over this position here because I just assumed that it was going to go down because it was tapping into our previous supply zones. So this is something I recently learned. Once a supply zone, so for instance, we had a run up here and a downtrend there. So this here is a new supply zone. Once price has already tapped into that supply zone and reacted, we can't really expect it to respect that supply zone again. I think I might have to close this position. What's going on? Anyway, we can't really expect it to respect that supply zone again. And that's what happened here. And then, unfortunately, also what happened here. So we had a high here that caused this downtrend here. So when I saw price get up into that zone again, let's draw this up here. When I saw price get up into this zone again, and I saw it pushing down, I think I put some short positions to try to scalp it down to the 50. And as you can see, that just didn't work out. And the reason is because this supply zone here had already been tapped in. There we go. So that's the top, that's confirmation, and that's the breakout. So it's already been tapped into once, twice, 2 times previously. So when it got into here on this strong uptrend, price just rejected it, passed straight through it. So when we got up into this space here, just show you quickly. So I think I took some losing positions here. When we got up into this zone here, and it pushed down to the 9 EMA here, pushed up again, and I saw a clear divergence this time on the RSI. I started entering positions, or I should have started entering positions around here. And the main reason for that isn't just because of the price action, it's because we had now entered a new, unused supply zone. If I could draw that out accurately. So it's about there, yeah? So let's just get the top of this. Okay, so this supply zone here that caused this down move here, once price reached, so that's the top here, that's the origin of the move, that's the confirmation, and that's the breakout. So once price reached this unused supply zone, we could expect a move to the downside, which is what we got. So let's get back into this. Let's zoom back in. So as you can see, it got up into here, it touched it, it bounced down, got up into there again, and rejected hard, and then consolidated before breaking down. So we had that, and the added confluence, which would have been here on the RSI. So, and then once it broke down and entered under my 9 EMA, that would have been my confirmation or my entry, yeah? So I would have got in here. And then typically, let me just show you. So my entry would have been here, around 68. I would have got in here, and I would have typically aimed for a 15 pip take profit, or would have aimed for the 50 EMA. But seeing as the 50 EMA had crept up quite quickly, it was here when I was looking at it, it crept up, quite quickly, I was now aiming for the 200 EMA. Or again, typically I would aim for my 15 pip 15 pip take profit. But because I lost some moves here and it was in a new supply zone, and I still believe in the long-term down thesis that this will go back down towards 1.0350. I was confident that this move here, and also because of this long consolidation here, I was confident that this move will give me more than 15 pips. It normally gives a range of about 30 pips in each direction, in either direction. So I was quite confident I would get this 15 pips. So I held that move. Should have held that move a little bit longer from the looks of it. I got in, held that move, and I was aiming for the 200 here, which was 26 pips. Now, I mean, if you have a look at this, let me just zoom in quickly. So if you have a look at this, price consolidated for a fair bit, pushing down. So at this point here, I was happy. I knew, everything was going according to plan. It was going down, so on and so on. And then all of a sudden, I saw this big, massive candle, which is about 16 pips within five minutes in this 5-minute candle. Price shot all the way up there. I was a little bit concerned, but then I remembered, this is a fresh supply zone. It had not been touched before. I had my stop loss just above this entry here, or the peak here at, what was that, 93? I think I had it at 94, so just above there. So when price came up there, touched again, and put in this big rejection candle here, I knew I was quite confident that I was going to get this TP, which was here at the 200 EMA. So I marked that out, and that's where I took most of my profit from. Yeah. So I had a fair bit on. Now I'm actually still in the move, as you can see down here. And the reason I've left that in, I think I built some confidence in leaving positions in a little bit longer and smaller size on. As you can see, the volume's only 0.1 here, but it's already given me about 62 pips here. I built some confidence in doing that yesterday. So a part of my trading plan was to actually leave a little runner, maybe 20% runner. And I wasn't confident previous to yesterday, but after yesterday, after what I went through, and the previous weeks, I've left a lot of money on the table basically, and I want to try and maximize the moves a little bit more. So I've got this move here, it's running. My entry would have been, let's have a look. So my entry is all the way up here, yeah. So I caught the entry right at the top there of that candle at 79, and as you can see, I'm about 60. I've got about 67 pips there. That's a 67 pip move. I mean, if I left, say 5-1 there, that would be 125, over £250 there. And I did have 5-1, but again, I'm not in the habit of just leaving things for long periods of time, seeing how it works out and so on, especially because it was approaching this demand zone, this, I think, unused demand zone as well. Yeah, it's an unused demand zone, and I should really close it out, but my long thesis is that price is still going to push down sub 500. So we're going to see. So I took some off and left a little bit on, and we're going to see how it goes. I did move my stop loss to break even, so this is a free trade. I may take off a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to take some off here. So this is a bit of a live trade here. So let's take half of the back there. So as you can see now on my account balance, it's at $10,014. So I started the week on 9,930. So I've grown the account by about $84. which isn't massive, and especially with the big moves that I caught, I should have had a better week. But end of the day, it's another green week for me. I've only had 2 red days. Today's a red day, even though I caught this move. I've only had 2 red days in about 8, 9 trading days. So I'm quite happy about that. Next week, we move on. I built a lot of confidence with this moves, and this is actually my second week using supply and demand, so it's very new to me. I'm not an expert, but as you can see, it helps you build your confidence in moves. So it's quite reliable in that sense. You could clearly where you want to enter, clearly where you want to place your stop loss, and you know when you want to exit as well if you have a trading plan. So whether it's 15 pips, 20 pips, 2 to 1, or so on. So basically, next week, it's a new week, refocus. I'm going to put a little bit more size on now that I know I'm confident with what I'm doing now. And I think I could wrap up this challenge maybe within about maximum of 10 days. I think it's more likely 6 days, but I'm not going to rush it because I've got six months. I'm yet to be in my first month. I've still got another week, I think. Yeah, third week. So I've still got another week left. So I've got tons of time and there's no real reason to rush it. And as you can see, I'm learning as we are going. And I think if I just focus on my entries here, learning a bit more about supply and demand and so on, how to play these counter trends, whether I'm using the EMAs, whether I'm using divergence for entries and so on. All these things I'm learning as I take these trades. So it's really important not just to put a lot of size on and just make big trades, win one, lose one, blow up your account, when you could take all these small trades and learn from it. So it's very important to learn from it. And this is one of the reasons like I mentioned, this is one of the reasons I've started this channel, so I could review my trades to learn from it, but also for you to be able to learn from my mistakes. And as you can see, I make a fair bit of mistakes. If I didn't get involved in this emotional trading here, I would have had a very good day. This is 64 pips in this move. If I put a bit of size on, that's maybe £200 or £300. I'm halfway through the course in one day. So I know I could pass this challenge. It's just a matter of how I do it. And it's something I'm going to be focusing more on next week. So hopefully, again, I hope you appreciated this video. I hope it's explained a little bit more supply and demand. It's another example, and you got to see a bit of a live trade there as I close my position, and you can see that this isn't just stimulated, and it's just not just me talking. You can actually see what's going on behind the scenes. I hope you appreciate this video. This brings us to the end of this video. So until next time, possibly next week, it's Patrick signing out.